Morning, bitches. How's it going? Welcome into another episode of Random Shit with Kyle. I'm your host, Kyle. We are recording a podcast and we are live again on TikTok because TikTok is the thing again. Woot woot. So it's been a hot minute. Yes, I get it. What happened, you see, was that January started and I had a lot of lofty goals. And I also started a show, so time got away from me. And then you always have that like imposter syndrome where you feel weird about starting something back up, even though you've done it for a while now and it's like an actual thing. But somebody reached out to me today and thanked me for doing my podcast, and then it kind of helped resurge that I want to do this and I want to have it reach people. So anyways, it's late on a Friday, but it is still Friday. So we are going to talk about Trans Shit Friday. And what we are going to talk about is, other than the clusterfuck that is the world right now, and it is very scary out there for all trans individuals and for anybody who's any kind of minority or diverse in any sort of way. So I hope that everything is okay. And if it's not, please reach out to me. I will do the best I can to get you connected to whoever and whatever you need in that time, in that moment. If you just need somebody to listen, I will also be that for you. As long as maybe you promise to be that for me in return, because dear God, it is rough out there in the orange baboon world that we currently live in. So anyways, we are going to talk not exclusively about those things today. That's almost too much for my brain to like process. But we are going to talk about my experience in this show that I'm currently in. So I am currently Agatha Trunchbull in the Little Mermaid. That's not it. Matilda, the musical. So if you don't know that story, Agatha Trunchbull is the principal. And in the musical version, so in the movies and stuff, she's played, sorry, I have like dirt on my shirt from getting a puppy hug. It's fine. They're cute. Anyways, Agatha Trunchbull in the movies is played by a woman, but in the musical, she is played by a man who cross-dresses to be a woman because it's even funnier, right? So that is the role that I tried out for. It's the role that I really wanted. It's also the role that I was the most scared to potentially get cast in because it has been 15 years since I have been perceived to be a woman. And I have to like wear a bra and all of these things. And like, I haven't had top surgery yet. So I wear a binder. I've worn a binder for 15 years and it binds my chest. And I decided that this was the time and the place. It was with the director and the people on stage that I could trust the most. And so I had a talk with the director after I got cast and said, is it okay if I still wear my binder and we get like a bra or a breastplate or something and that I can wear on top of my binder? That way I don't have to use my own anatomy. Like that would make me feel a lot better and a lot more secure. And he was very accommodating. He was like, absolutely, of course that's what we would do. Which is wonderful. He's one of my best friends, and so I knew that I could talk to him about this and have this conversation. The other thing that I was worried about was my own dysphoria. I have a really hard time when somebody says she to me. Like that really, really, really gets me, probably worse than almost anything else. And so I was nervous and worried about that, especially when I'm in drag. I still am not sure that I'm comfortable with that set of pronouns, the she, her pronouns, right? And so I said, can you just always refer to me as he, him, no matter what? And he was like, absolutely. And he has done a wonderful, magnificent job of being able to even trade that character's pronouns in his mind. And all of the kids in the show have followed suit. They haven't even been told that that's a thing. A bunch of them don't know I'm trans, which is totally fine. And yet they all are like, hey, is Mr. Kyle gonna blah, 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 blah. Like, they all just refer to me as like my name or he, him. And it has made the experience so much better. One of the things, though, that kind of rocked my world that I wasn't expecting with all of this was people's comments, especially people who are in my life, and who know that I'm trans but don't quite understand it, like it's too hard for them to comprehend, is the the comments of, so is that like, are you quote unquote cross-dressing, or are you not cross-dressing, or like, so it's basically like you're going back to what you were, right? And no, like, and it's hard to explain to somebody who clearly sees the boundaries of male and female so much differently than someone who has gone through all of that. So the best way I can describe it is, I was being forced to be a female. I was being forced to live this life that on the outside of me that was not who I was on the inside of me. Okay, so then once I transitioned, it was really only me transitioning the outside of my appearance, right? And because I had always felt this way, this is always who I had been on the inside. So that was a really hard thing to like describe, is like, no, I'm not going quote unquote back to being a female for this role, because that's really not who I ever was. But also, I'm not quote unquote using any of the anatomy that I was, I guess, wrongly gifted as a human being, if we want to call it that. And that has made me feel more secure in all of this. So I don't know if like that makes any more sense to anyone, but like, no, I'm not going back to anything. What I'm doing is I'm Kyle, and I'm finally able to be Kyle fully. And now I am Kyle, who is playing a character. And it is the same. I look at it and honestly, it feels the same as me playing any other character. So I've been Patrick Star in the SpongeBob musical. I've been Uncle Fester in the Addams Family musical. But even further than that, back in time in high school, I was Mrs. Potts. And that was I looked at that character the same that I look at all of these other characters, and that's how it feels. I'm stepping into a character as Kyle, and anything that I put on or anything that I do or anything that I wear is that character, and it's not me. So it is not me going back to being something. It is not me going and reversing in whatever. And it just is very weird to have those questions posed to you, because if I was playing, like when I played Uncle Fester, no one ever said to me like, oh, so that's like you going back and being like a creepy old dead man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they could have said those things, but they didn't, because I wasn't quote unquote moving backwards in my transition. And that's what it feels like they are seeing, is me moving backwards in my transition. But all my transition has ever been is forward. And 5 years ago, when I decided that I wanted to play this role, I thought that I would never be able to play this role, because I would never have the confidence in my own self to be called she while I was in a role, or to have boobs again. Like, that's so weird. Or to wear a skirt. I have to wear platform high heel combat boots because I'm short. You know, so like I never thought that I would have the confidence to do any of that. I never felt that I would have a safe enough space to explore this world of gender bending and you know, crossing these boundaries. But I have found that, and so far I haven't worn the full costume yet, but I've tried on different pieces. I've kind of taken it and devoured it in small sections to make sure that I don't overwhelm myself. And the costume person has been very accommodating and very supportive and very understanding and hasn't pushed anything on me, has been very wonderful throughout this whole thing. And so I'm very grateful that so far everything is going perfectly fine. And I know that during Tech Week, things might get stressful and we might get stressed out and I might be overstimulated and kind of freak out and have some dysphoria moments. But I know that I'm surrounded by people who care about me and who see me as Kyle and nothing else. And that helps a lot. So I am a little bit worried about the people coming up to me after. I'm also a little bit worried my family, some of my family, is coming in to see this show. And I'm a little bit worried of their naive comments. I don't think that anybody means anything maliciously. Everyone in my life currently is very supportive and very, really trying to gain an education, especially given the current political climate that we are in and the scrutiny that me and all of the trans community is under. So everyone in my life is very supportive and understanding, and I don't think anybody means any malice against me for that, for, those comments. They just hit a little bit differently, and I wasn't quite expecting them. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, I'm a little bit nervous about how I will be received after the show when I'm still in full costume and makeup, and when people come out to shake my hand or get pictures with me or whatever, and how I'll receive all of that. But so far, so good. And I'm actually very relieved by that. I went into this audition thinking, if I'm ready for this role, if I'm ready for this to basically be thrown in my face constantly, then I'll get it. And if I'm not, then the universe is telling me I'm not ready, and that's okay, and that's totally fine. And then I got the role, and immediately the first feeling that I felt was, well, shit, I hope I'm ready for this, because honest to God, I'm not entirely sure that I was. But anyways, so I just wanted to kind of give you a perspective of those things. Other than that, dear God, in the world, we've already been, stripped of that we're actually people. And I know that these are just executive orders at this moment, but the fact that somebody can write that down on paper and that people accept that as, yep, that's totally fine, is terrifying. But honestly, there are so many things that have happened in the past 2 weeks that are so utterly baffling to me and so terrifying on so many different levels that it is honestly so hard to process. So I just want to give you the message. This is for literally anyone. Anyone trying to fight this good fight and stand up, even when it's hard, for the things that are right, which is to love and support the minorities, and to make sure that people are heard and seen as people, as human beings. It doesn't matter if they look different than you, if they have different features, if they're different ages, if they are different, just see people for people and try to do good in the world. And I just want you to know that I love you and I see you, and I am going to do whatever I can by using my voice, by standing up and speaking up for people, and by also using the platforms that I have made and have been given to give people that look different than me, or that sound different than me, or that believe different than me, a platform to say something positive and healing, right? I will not give a platform to somebody speaking hate or acting hatefully, right? That is not who I want to be associated with, and that is not who I want to bring voice to for anybody, you know? So I am trying my damnedest to be a positive and rational voice in this crazy ass time, and I hope that you join me in doing the same. And I know that, honest to God, if anybody's listened this far, you probably are. So thank you. I see you. I love you. I am supporting you, and I will do my damnedest to step outside of my comfort zone and to learn more about things I don't know about, to immerse myself in cultures that I don't know about. That's my goal. And that's what I want for this platform and for every platform that I'm on. So anyways, that was my long rant, but it's very heavy and it's very, very scary at the moment. So on that note, we're going to do a couple of hopefully maybe lighter hearted things, but I'm going to bring back out the cards. I have the last few red cards. We're going to pick a couple of those and then answer those on this podcast today. So the first card that I picked is the 8 of Hearts, and it says, if they made a movie of your life, what genre would it be? Dear God, what genre would the movie about my life be? Probably a comedy drama, a drama llama comedy. I don't know what the fuck any of the genres actually are, to be honest. I'm sure that some of it would feel like a horror film. My life is crazy. And are we going with just my life, or are we going with my life and my family's life? Because if we're going with my life and my family's life, then it's going to be a batshit documentary. Because if you don't know all the random crap about my mother is still currently just off her goddamn rocker. And yeah, there's too much to unpack there, but I just want you to know that the chronicles of Sandra motherfucking Denton are a lot. So I love her to death. It's a lot. But if it's a movie just about my life and just about my experience, even as a trans man, it would probably be a drama or a documentary, but hopefully it would have at least some comedy in there, because I do fancy myself kind of funny every now and then. So I'm going to go with that. We'll see. Hopefully it would have a little bit of romance in it. Me and my wife's story is fucking cute. I don't know. That's hard to pick a genre for your whole fucking life. The next one I drew was the 4 of Hearts. And it says, what is the weirdest thing you've ever gotten paid for? The weirdest thing I've ever gotten paid for. Damn, I don't know. As a musician, you kind of get paid for weird gigs. So one time I got paid $350 to come in and sit in on a show. It was a matinee on a Sunday. And one of my friends was music directing it, and he had a live orchestra. And the drummer that he had hired was part of the symphony, and they had a gig that started at 5 p.m., so he had to leave at 4:30. And the show started at like 2:30 or something like that. So he was going to literally miss the last like 2 numbers or something of the whole show. And so I got paid like $350 to come in and sit there. I didn't know the show. It was the Gilligan's Island musical. I had never heard of it before. He asked me this like the day before, like the Saturday before this Sunday matinee. And I was like, okay. So he was like, just show up at like 4 o'clock and listen and get a vibe for what's happening. And then he's going to leave at like 4:25, and you're going to hop on the drum set and continue playing like whatever you feel, and it'll be fine. And I shit you not, because when you work with like union symphony players, they actually do exactly what they say. So if they say they're leaving at 4:25, like they're gonna get up and leave at 4:25 no matter what. He got up in the middle of a song. We literally like switched off. Like he was like, you got sticks? I was like, yeah. And he was like, okay, great, come over here, and like we're gonna switch off. And like we did mid song. He was like, okay, I'm out. And I was like, oh, okay, bye. And just sat there and like got into position as I was drumming while trying to get into the seat. And then I played the last like 2 full songs and then the half a song that he left in the middle of. So that was pretty fucking weird. And I made $350 for just literally making shit up in the Gilligan's Island musical. So there's that. I don't know. I've gotten paid to do weird things, not like sexual things, not like that, but like weird off the wall things, you know. My first job was in a nematest lab, and so we looked for nematodes in roots and things like that. So, you know, weird crap. I got paid once to eat a mushroom when I was a kid. I got paid $5. I didn't like them then, but I love them now. So I don't know, maybe that worked. Okay, next card is the 3 of clubs. Oh my God, I'm throwing cards. Hold on. And it says, do you text while sitting on the toilet? Yeah. I sure do. I feel like everybody does, and you're fucking lying if you've never texted while on the toilet. And honest to God, if you don't take your phone with you while you're on the toilet, what are you doing? When I was a kid and I didn't have a phone, I literally would talk to myself and like make up like sermons or something that I would tell, like not necessarily sermons, but like if I had a room full of adults and I could lecture them on something, I literally made that shit up. I would do that in the shower too. I would sit there for like 20 minutes just like speechifying to the curtain. So that was what I did before technology, and now I watch TikToks on the toilet. I feel like everybody does. So if you don't, I think that you're in the minority on that one. All right, one more, and then we're gonna head out. Okay, so this is the Queen of Diamonds, and it's long, so let me see where this even fucking starts. Okay. Would you rather lose all your memories or never be able to make new ones? Oh, damn. I feel like, I mean, just off the top of my head, I feel like I'd rather keep my memories and not be able to make new ones. I don't know exactly. Like, I don't, that sounds crazy, but like, I don't want to forget, like, meeting my wife. I don't want to forget, all of the special firsts that we had, but I also don't want to, like, give up the future firsts that we have. I don't know, but I feel like if I knew that and people around me knew that, then we could sort of 51st dates it, right? Like, and that'd be okay with me comparatively to the alternative. I already feel like I don't really remember the past very well. I blocked a lot of it out from trauma and things. So I don't want to lose like the good memories that I've got. Yeah. That would be wild. So I'm gonna go with I would like to keep my old memories and not be able to make new ones, hoping that somebody in my life would remember seeing 51st Dates and start recording shit for me so that I could watch it on a rainy day. We're gonna go with that. What a weird ass note to end on. It's been a journey in this podcast, and thanks for going along with me. In true form and fashion, it's called Random Shit with Kyle, and though I am trying to have a schedule, clearly the schedule so far is random. So I will hopefully catch you on Tuesday, but if I do not, I'll catch you again. I promise it will just be random. All right. Bye, bitches. Have a great week, morning, noon, night, whatever the fuck this is for you, and I will see you later. Bye, y'all.